Okay, so after playing the beta for almost a week now, I decided to make a small review, just explaining how I feel about the beta, how I felt about the gameplay, the guns, the weapons, and over here even the farm, the social site, the social space. What I thought about the social space is different, you know. Like, we're so used to the tower after going to the tower for 3 years, and the reef, and the temple. It feels, new. It feels new, we'll have to get used to it and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, though, I really like the soccer game here. I really like how they built in a soccer game inside the social space. It's pretty cool. You can see this big shard in the way back there in the European dead zone. It's pretty cool. I wonder if there's going to be a story about this. Maybe there's going to be a quest. We don't know yet, But I went around a little bit, I passed some decent amount of time at the farm with the buddies there. I was with Y6 and CC and Twirly. And we were hanging out at the social space for almost like half an hour, pretty much. Just looking at everything, where the vendors could be. We kind of found where Dead Orbit's going to be in Eva Teveris, the one that she sells things for real money. Oh no. But yeah, well, like, it was pretty stoked, I really like the social space, and it will take some used to because we're so used to going to the tower. But other than that, there's not much to say about the social space. We're gonna go over there to put our weapons and all that kind of stuff and see some people dance, and like this warlock dance. Look at this. God damn, man. They went into it for the dances in D2 so far. So yeah. So far, I have mixed feelings about D2. But I do realize that this is a beta. A beta is an old form of the game being made, or something to try to find glitches, errors, problems, give your opinion, constructive opinions, and all that kind of stuff. I've seen many people give good opinions, and I've seen many people bash periodically on the game for the last couple days. Me, in other words, I'll try to keep it as constructive as possible. But to be honest, I liked it, the beta. It's Destiny. It's pretty much the same thing, except with the newer graphics and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, though, I felt it was less smoother than D1. I don't know why. When you shoot and all that kind of stuff, it felt weird. Like, you would shoot your hand cannon directly into a player's head, and it wouldn't feel that smooth. You know what I mean? Like, you play Destiny 1 and you play this, and you kind of see there's less smoothness that in D1. But I felt like the RNG on certain weapons was active. I don't know if I should be talking about this, but when you land 5 shots with a hand cannon into someone and he doesn't go down, there's a lot of ghost bullets. And for me, I'm not all about that. I hope they rethink their things up, It's not cool. It's not going to be cool for the competitive basis, They're going to want their shots to land. If they shoot somebody, they want it to land. I've seen myself even shotgun somebody at one point blank, and it didn't kind of register or something. So, it's all tiny things like this, and I do realize it's a beta, so I go easy. I say to myself, once the game comes out, we'll see if they fix it, the errors that people talked about, and all that kind of stuff. But graphics-wise, the worlds are so beautiful, so immense. When you're playing that new PvP map there, Endless Vale, you realize, man, the graphics potential it's there. Like, they can produce environments. Bungie can produce environments like no other company can. So, for graphics, that's pretty much it. Alright, for classes. Classes-wise, I felt the Striker was one of the strongest class. and overall in the beta. I felt that the striker was even more stronger than in Destiny 1. The striker is super is a Roman Fist of Havoc. Alright, so we were complaining about the Fist of Havoc being too strong and unstoppable in Destiny 1. And now you have a Roman striker. Fist of Havoc that has extra speed. Yeah. Let that sink in. But anyways, I mean, I felt the Sentinel compared to the striker, the Sentinel was a little bit weak. I would have wanted to be able to throw the disc a little bit more instead of just having to bash. But there's another perk setup that I think you get an extra disc. So, in other words, that might fix it. We'll see when the game comes out pretty much. But for Titan, I felt the striker was the better class. And hunter-wise, I'm not much of a hunter, but I can definitely say I felt I've seen a lot more Arc Strider than Golden Guns. Golden Guns seem a little bit weak. Overall class build. Their knife does extra fucking work now, though. It even leaves a solar stain right beside where it hits, so it's pretty decent now. The Arc Strider, hey, it's the Arc Strider. It's where it's at, you know, for the hunters. I felt that the extra movements they give you with the Arc Strider is a little bit better than just the Arc Blade. The Arc Blade, you know, you have to swing towards your enemy, and sometimes it would leave you in a bad situation. And I felt like the Arc Strider left you more in a, you know, you can outmaneuver yourself out of certain situations and all that kind of stuff. For Warlocks, alright, Warlocks is where a little bit I stand. You know, I main Warlock now. I used to main Titan, but now I main Warlocks. And to be honest, I felt the Voidwalker out destroyed the Dawnblade. The Dawnblade, it's an amazing super. It looks badass, it looks good, it looks bang, like, oh my god, like a Dawnblade run, you know, but you don't have to run. You can literally run in a circle and they're just gonna bash around you and it doesn't do shit. Sometimes you'll throw your flames towards somebody and it will just hit like the right on point and it will just lit the enemy on fire and that's it. Sometimes it'll still leave him alive. And when the enemy opponent is in the air, you barely have any aim assist on the super. And you barely have health. I saw myself at certain points pop the Dawnblade in certain situation and got melted in midair. So it's a super that you have to be in the air almost constantly. You can be a running Roman super on the ground, but it leaves you in situations where, you know, you don't really want to be against like strikers and all that kind of stuff. You want to be in the air and lash out those flames down into the ground. But I felt like you had no armor. You would get melted instantly. So I just pretty much, I played with Dawnblade a fair bit. I got triple feeds, I got quad feeds. You'll even see a quad feed at the end with the, well, the middle of this video with the Dawnblade. But to be on point, I felt like the Voidwalker was the better class of the Warlocks. The nades are super good. The life strain melee is super good. The blink, oh, the blink with shotgun melee combo, oh god, it was so good. That's pretty much it for class. For class, I felt the Striker was the strongest. Second, I'd put Voidwalker, and then third, I'd put Arc Strider. Alright, so now for abilities. People complain about the abilities in Destiny 1, that they're saying that there's too much ability spam now. And I do agree. There is a lot of ability spamming in Destiny 1 compared to this game. This game is a little bit more about gun on gun. The guns feel a lot better. The only thing is, it comes down to the clunkiness of the characters. I feel like, you know, we go back to the beginning where we're saying that Destiny 1 was a little bit smoother than Destiny 2. And I feel like sometimes you'll shoot somebody and he feels clunky, doesn't feel smooth. I hope they refine that a little bit in Destiny 2 when it comes out. And you can see right there, like, remember what I was saying, like, those shotguns, point blank, and you have to put 2 shots. Yeah, compared to a fusion rifle where you have 6 and you can map people, you know. But back to the smoothness of the weapons and all that kind of stuff. Pulse rifles were king. Hand cannon, I'd say they need a little buff. Or remove the RNG behind the ghost bullets. Auto rifles were in a good state. I really liked the auto rifles. Else than that, scout rifles, I feel like they need a buff. But I think we were playing with fast firing rate scout rifles instead of like hard hitting scout rifles. So we might want to wait until Destiny 2 to start talking about those. SMGs, a lot of recoil, but really good in close quarter, which is supposed to be. Sidearms, I maybe saw one guy playing with a sidearm, which is really good because sidearms is a pest in Destiny 1. And you can see right there, that's the biggest streak I got with the Dawnblade so far in the beta. So abilities, calm down a little bit. The nades, I like the nades. Like, don't touch the nades. Like, the only nades that need maybe a slight little bit of an adjustment is the pulse nades. They're strong as hell. They feel like the lightning nades in D1. So maybe touch those a little bit. Fusion nades, it feels great to be able to have an encounter and not get fusion naded every single time. So a lot of like the melees though, I'd like the melees to go back to a 2-hit combos. With the amount of team shotting and the way that you play against a lot of teams, like I'm a lot like I'll play with a team, but sometimes I play alone. And when I played alone, I found myself in bad situations where 90% of the time I would go against a team of 4. And when you're there and you're an aggressive player like I am, when you go in and you start shooting somebody and you melee him, and he has no more armor, but it doesn't insta-kill him, it can get frustrating because then you start getting team shotting and you die when you could have killed that dude, outmaneuver, get the hell out of there, and then go around and figure something out. So I think that the melee should go back to a 2-hit. You know, like the 3-hit melees. I've never seen a first-person shooter where you had to hit a player 3 times. If you did, leave it in the comment below. But I feel like the melees could go back to a 2-hit. The nades, I wouldn't change too much. They were pretty decent. Else than that, the supers. The supers, they need to recharge faster. Like, in a game where team shooting and team plays are this much, you know, they're constant pretty much. You need a super to turn it around certain times. When you're the one player doing really great on your team and your team is getting slaughtered because the other team is on point on everything, you need to get your super a lot faster. You need to get energy, like super energy from kills. Like they need to do something. I've seen myself at certain points doing amazingly good, getting my super the last 30 seconds of the game. And then everybody in the other team gets it and they just over-destroy you. And the rest of your team, they might not even get it, you know, if they're doing so-so. But if your team is doing great, you're probably going to get your super the last minute of the game. But then it gets to a chaotic moment where everybody uses their super all at the same time instead of, like, tactically. Everybody start using Arc Strider. Everybody's using Dawnblade, Sentinel, and all that kind of stuff, and then you use your super for 1 kill instead of like using it for, oh, there's a bunch of people on B, it's the half of the game, I'm gonna go in with my super. Alright boys, let's cover him. Boom, 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 you get a super kill, 2, 3, and then you turn it around, you capture the point, your teammates get orb, they can turn it around, you know what I mean? Like Destiny, that you like it or not, supers are a must. That's what makes the game shine. Like, it's cool, you look at these abilities, you're like, damn, dude, that looks sick. But if you never get one, it ruins the fun. It's not Destiny. So that's my point of view on supers. I feel like you need more super energy. Other than that, like, weapons I touched on. I touched on the social space. I touched on the graphics, the smoothness. I touched on the super energy. The ability spamming in this game, compared to Destiny 1. Destiny 1 is ability spam, pretty much. But this game, I think it's balanced. So, super energy has to come faster. That was one of my main concerns. Strike-wise, almost forgot about the strike. The strike, it's a strike. I'm not that much into strikes. I love doing them with friends, like on a Saturday night, just chilling, just relaxing, and all that kind of stuff. It was a hard strike. I can't imagine how it's going to be in the Nightfall. It's going to be rough, but that's what they need to be. They need to be tight, kind of a little bit harder. And D1, the strikes at the end were, laughable at. So, other than that strike, I felt the bosses were cool, the world was cool, the enemies were cool, like the sequences of the last boss where you pass over the floor. Awesome. Awesome. If there's more strikes like that, I'm going to be really happy. I feel like they work hard on the campaign. The story-wise this time around, they're saying that supposedly there's over 50 cutscenes, so I'm all down for that, dude. I can't wait. Like, as much as people bitched on the Destiny 1 campaign, Destiny 1, after you played all the DLCs, after you played all the expansions and everything like that, you had a lot of story. But I do agree, though, that the vanilla days, when the game came out, there wasn't a lot of story. But this time around, I think they focus a lot more on story, which is a blast. I can't wait. But there's one thing I need to talk about, though, is the way they try to balance PvP by making, the weapons, the slot 1, slot 2, slot 3 type deal. I feel it's ruining the PvE experience. The PvE experience you used to run with, let's say, like a Fatebringer, Hung Jury, your main primary that does a lot of, add damage and all that kind of stuff. And then you would have your shotgun for enemies that rushed, or snipers to do major DPS on a boss. And then you would have your heavy to clear out a lot of adds or do a lot of damage on a boss. But in this game, it's not the same. And heavy bullets drop really rarely in PvE. So I hope they adjusted that your weapons do a lot more damage in PvE. I felt myself using a pulse rifle on a big ass boss. It gets long and it gets really a pain. Just non-stop for 15 minutes hitting a boss's head with a pulse rifle that do barely enough damage to even scratch the dude. So I hope that they touch that. I do understand that they wanted to touch the PvP balancing with the shotguns, the fusions, the snipers, and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, I feel like, the fusion right now is in a extreme state. It's overpowered. They need to touch the range and the ammo count. Not the impact. The impact, leave it there. It felt good. It felt very satisfying using a fusion in this game. But they need to reduce the ammo, I'd say, to even 3 shots. Because you can map people as far as in sniper range. And, why use a sniper when you can use a fusion and literally map a player, So, I'd say, reduce the ammo on fusion and reduce the spray on the range. So, in other words, if the further the enemy is, the less damage it's going to do to him. But the impact up to close and mid, I'd say, leave it alone. It needs to do damage. Shotguns, I'd say 5 bullets. Because 4 bullets, like you've seen in the video earlier, I hit the dude 2 times, and I hit the other dude 2 times, point blank, and you would need an extra bullet. Snipers, I feel like there was so much flinch caused by the weapons that it was hard using the sniper. So if they fix the flinch that the weapons cause, I think the snipers are going to be in a good state. I think they're strong. I think you get a decent amount of bullets. But the flinch is there, and it's really awful for snipers, and any gun in particular, because the flinch in this game is really aggressive. If you're a hand cannon user, you saw it, and it's rough. Else than that, power ammo in PvP, I feel it's okay. everybody loves using shotguns and snipers, so it's a little bit of a bummer that only one person gets it. I see myself fighting over power ammo when you're not playing as a team. So I don't know. I feel like to counter power ammo or counter supers, everybody should be getting it. But that's my opinion. But in other words, though, I was fine with like pretty much a power ammo situation. Else than that, I mean, I would just adjust the weapons damage in the PvE. But PvP, I felt like everything was fine except for the hand cannons, RNG, and all that certain flinch and all that kind of stuff. But all in all, I really like it, the Destiny 2 beta. I hope that you guys had a blast. I hope that my opinions are going to be shared. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys on Destiny